Hey guys, it's Nerd Java, everything games, movies, and TV. I'm Anthony Tupasi.
Now I'm Alex Rodriguez.
Let's get started. We have a special edition here for you. It's Throwback Thursday.
Throwback Thursday.
What does that mean, Alex?
It means we're going to be reviewing some throwback movies. And today, the way we chose it, it's the 20th year anniversary edition of the movie Signs by M. Night Shyamalan.
That's right.
All right, came out in 2002, starring Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix.
Those are the two main characters. It's about the Hess family. They live in Pennsylvania. Mel Gibson's character, Graham Hess, is finding crop circles in his farm.
Yes, and what I love is it has that little backstory of he's dealing with the death of his wife, and it starts to just kind of catapult the whole movie as far as like all the backstory, right?
That's right.
And along with all the signs and stuff, I mean, you've seen all the crop circles, so the whole dilemma is, aliens are coming into town and they don't know what to do, right? Yeah. What I liked about the movie is just how they really tie everything together, how, it has that whole sense of things happen for a reason and everything kind of serves its purpose, right? Everyone has their things that they're dealing with, but at the end of the story, it ends up becoming like that's what helps them solve everything and how kind of defeat the enemies, right?
I think that's a really good point, because when you see like the picture boards and the trailers, you just think Signs as aliens, but it's like he's a retired reverend, or he's a reverend who quit, which he deals with signs all the time, faithful signs. So this movie is like packed with stuff. Like I want to unload on this because like there's a lot of symbolism in here. Like
so
with
many
the
layers
signs,
going on,
right?
Yeah.
It's a very complex movie. After watching it, after the 20th anniversary, it's like, whoa, this is kind of crazy. Like, how does this apply to now? I mean, what did you feel when watching it?
I just loved how, at times when people go through life, they think, troubling times that, why did this happen to me? Or, how could, make things better or whatever. But at the end of the day, like everything that happens again just happens for a reason, like with the brother, he was a minor league player and he kept striking out. They make it a point to say that he had the most strikeouts ever. Like it was like a record,
Yeah.
But at the end, that's what, just because he had a strikeout record didn't mean that he couldn't swing the bat.
That's right.
And him swinging the bat is
it's like the saving grace at the end, right? That's a big deal.
Yeah. And the same thing with the daughter.
Yeah.
She had asthma. Those aliens had this little poison thing, and if it was anybody else, they would have died. But for her, because she had her kind of nasal passage clogged, the poison didn't get into her.
But what's also with that is that she left all these glasses of water all over the house.
Yeah, she had this little thing about water,
it's
right?
Weird,
like
right?
It's like. She wanted to know what was the cleanest water, or she's like, this water isn't clean.
She wouldn't drink it, right?
She didn't want to drink it, so she just left them all around the area. And again, it was just one of the things where it's like, these aliens are like, the whole movie, they're coming in, right? They're slowly coming in. At the end of it, like, they're all like hiding out in their closet. And at the one point, they're all like, already just like, about to come into the house, and they just don't know how to defeat them.
Exactly.
And the way it is at the end, the way everything works out is that these aliens are basically almost allergic to water.
Yeah, allergic to water, right? It kills them.
It's like they're poison or whatever, which is kind of funny that they came to a planet that's 70% water.
I was thinking the same thing. That's what I actually put down. I was thinking like all the places they picked was the worst place for them.
Basically. But then again, maybe they just never come across a water planet as prolific as
True.
Earth or whatever. But yeah, you think that they would know that by now, especially being a more of a superior, or at least
supposedly,
race.
Right?
Supposedly, right? I mean, if you could figure out how to travel through space, you got to be able to be kind of smart. You would think so. But what else stood out to you for Signs? What did you love about it?
Like the whole atmosphere is just heavy, right? Like the whole movie are just like they're waiting. There's just a constant wait. There's this tense. Like, from the moment they see those crop circles, things just start to change. Then they see the things in the sky. It's just heavy. Yeah. And it's just like you're building towards this thing, and, like, you're always waiting to see something. And I love it because there's always, like, when he goes to the crops, like, they think there's, like, one of the people in town trying to, like, mess with their farm. and he goes out at night and he sees that leg, a green leg in the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, ah,
Oh, it's
but
creepy.
not just enough,
just enough.
Right,
I got a little bit of chills just because I remember it is like they like you said, they just show you just enough
Yeah.
to kind of just creep you out a little bit. I remember like that part,
Yeah.
very creepy, and also that part where like they're showing them on TV and
Yes.
the little children's party in Mexico or whatever, and they
Yeah.
just see like just kind of like pass by really
Real
quick and
fast.
just like
Yeah,
whoa,
just
you know,
enough,
so,
yeah.
like they finally showed it, and
Yeah.
to think like imagine if you saw that, it's like it's creepy, you know. And again, like going back to like the backstory of Mel Gibson's character, and like they always talk about in the beginning how the issue about how his wife died, but they don't really show why, or they
Yeah.
don't show how it happened. So the way it kind of unfolds at the end, and then of course like him thinking back on it, and then going back to his wife's last words were basically like
Swing
remember,
away.
like, swing away,
Swing
right?
away,
Tell,
right? Yeah.
tell what's his name to swing away,
Yeah.
and tell her to never stop. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know if she mentions anything about the water now or
No, but she does put the which is really weird because it doesn't make any sense at the time, out of
Yeah.
context, right?
Yeah.
Their relationship's really interesting, right? Because one of the things that stood out to me about this movie was there's so much stuff like we all have as humans that we need to deal with, but when stuff gets heavy and it gets tense, and you don't know if you're going to have another night, you start dealing with it really fast, and
Yeah.
that's what they have to deal with. I think there's a moment that I was like kind of struck by was when they're having dinner at the table, and he's just no one wants to eat because obviously it might be the last night they live.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'm going to take all the food. I'll eat it. And then
Yeah.
he just freaks out. And then
Yeah.
the family comes to hug him. And it's just this tense moment. It
Yeah.
was like, it breaks all this tension,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like, this has all been in there the whole time. They've all dealt with their mom gone or his sister-in-law gone. And it just made me kind of reflect on things too. It's like you kind of have to maybe you need to wrap things up. You never know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I also loved how M. Night Shyamalan was pretty known for his cameos.
Yeah.
So I loved how he played the cameo, and I thought it was cool how he played the character that ended up being the one who killed the wife. I
Yes.
thought that was I don't know, just had a very powerful emotion to it.
And he's the guy who catches one of them in his basement. He goes
Oh,
away,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
he leaves, and he's like, "I'm gonna go by the water because
Yeah.
there's not seem to be. I'm gonna go to the lake."
Uh-huh.
And then he says, "I've trapped one." And of course, as an audience, we got to see,
Yeah.
this character,
forgot about that scene. That was a
Reverend
good
Graham,
scene.
right?
Yeah,
and he
that
has
was
to
a good
go and
scene.
check it out.
Yeah, he has a
You know?
little knife, and he's using to like reflect and kind of see. Yeah, like that was a cool scene too. I really liked. There was a lot of good stuff. Is there anything you didn't like about the film?
I think the thing you mentioned before, the water thing was really funny to me
Okay,
because
yeah.
it was just like, our planet is full of water, and they were like, we're going to that place. The other thing to me, and this is just my picky thing, was like the actual choice. Every time as a director, if you're going to do an extraterrestrial movie, right, you're going to be thinking, what is this alien going to look like? And to me, when I first saw it, and this is just raw, I had just recently, 2 years before, seen The Grinch.
Okay.
And it looked like a hairless Grinch. Because it was tall and it was lanky, but then it was green.
Okay.
It was like they
Yeah.
shaved Jim Carrey, and that's
Yeah.
what we got, So it was kind of weird, right? So it was a weird alien kind of thing. But
Yeah.
overall, though, I think the first time I saw it was like the second time, and you get older and you have perspective. I was like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, this is pretty deep. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it definitely aged a little better than it was, especially when you just start to see again the underlining things. But I guess the overall moral of the story is just again like things happen for a reason. Everything has its place. Even if you're failing at life or something, like it means something.
As long as you
know,
pay
and-
attention to the signs.
Yeah, and pay attention
right?
to details and pay
Yeah.
attention to the signs. I do
Yeah.
think there's a lot of signs out there
Yeah.
that the universe tries to help us and lead us in places.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a great movie. I think it still holds up today.
Yeah.
One of the better M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Yeah.
That's
That's a different topic. Right?
That's a whole different topic. Obviously, Sixth Sense was probably the best one. But I mean, we don't even want to mention all the other movies.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that was better, like one of his top movies for sure. At least I
Definitely.
think so.
One of the ones to definitely celebrate 20 years after.
Yeah, I mean, I have seen it a few times since then. It's
Yeah.
like I don't mind seeing it. I think it's cool. Also, like when the other son is, I guess the son actually has the radio thing, and he's the one figuring out the radio stuff,
Yes,
right? I
yes.
guess that's kind of his role in the whole movie, I guess. So I thought that was cool too, and
That's
I
one
don't
thing
know, I
actually
don't
that
care.
actually wanted to point out that's really interesting about this movie that I don't see in many movies, whether it was in the 80s, 90s, or even now. the whole family's involved, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a rare thing we don't see anymore. Like the dad's involved. He has his own things. The ex baseball player, the brother, the son catching signs or getting signals, and the daughter who's afraid of water, which comes into play all the way. Like, when do you see the family actually? It usually there's the two top characters, the adult characters, or it's the psycho kid or something. But all of them in this one thing, it's kind of a really a special thing, and it connects them, right?
Yeah, very well balanced story with all the characters. They all had their own point, their own place to play. I would say, again, I don't know, I'm kind of lenient on these, but again, I like it. I would say, again, another 4 out of 5 cups for me.
4 to 5. I would give it. Let's see. When I was younger, I'd say 2, but now I'm actually going to say 4. So
there you go.
Sometimes you got to wait for it. It warms up on you.
Definitely.
Ages
definitely.
with like just good wine, right?
Good wine or good coffee.
Good coffee.
Actually, no, coffee's best right off the bat.
True.
It gets a little better after.
Cold
that.
coffee
So that's
not
not
so
a good
good.
example.
No.
But anyways, well, that does it for us here on our Throwback Thursday Anniversary Edition. Drop us a like and subscribe, and if you go ahead and drop us a comment too, let us know what you thought about Signs. Does it still hold up today? And whether or not you agree with us or not on our rating of the movie.
All right. I'm Anthony Tapasi.
And I'm Alex Rodriguez.
See you next time for a Throwback Thursday.